So we're out in the Tempranillo high wire, the experimental block we have planted. This is going to go into fourth leaf this year, so the fourth growing season. I wanted to talk about rootstocks. So on your vineyard, on your wine grape vineyards, they have a top graft varietal that's going to produce your fruit. So that's going to be a wine grape, and you've actually got a different rootstock. It's typically of a different vine, grapevine species. And the reason that's done is several things. Typically and originally it was done for disease tolerance. So you were actually able to select a different kind of variety, say like a native North American grape variety that has a different disease resistance profile than old world varieties from like Europe, the Near East, and avoid some of the disease pressures that you had, especially back in the earlier 1900s. But it's really come a long way in the last 50 years, and we're actually able to select for a lot more things just by the rootstock now. So you have your top graft of your producing variety on the top, and on your rootstock you're able to select for things like how vigorous it's going to be. So if you have a top graft variety that's very vigorous, it wants to produce 10-20 tons, and your target's 6. You can produce significantly less by choosing a limiting rootstock. And it's the same conversely with top grafts that don't produce as much. You can produce a much more vigorous or choose a much more vigorous rootstock to get more production out of that. Another important thing that you can do with it is actually modulate how much salt and how much other nutrients you're uptaking. So like out here we have boron. It's high, so we can actually select rootstocks that don't uptake as much boron, and that allows us to go farther without having to leach that down with fresh water. But you can see like where the graft is actually grafted on. It's pretty neat. We'll take a look here. So when the vines are young, it's right here. They actually cut off the top and graft on this other variety on the top, and this is called the graft union right here, and it kind of has some scar tissue, a little bulb around it. So there's actually no foliage produced from this rootstock down here, and it's just drawing nutrients and water from the soil. And then this top graft is actually what grows up and produces your fruit. So it's pretty neat, just the level of work that goes into making sure that these can survive in different climates and in different areas and produce the way you want them to.